All right, so part three of the Beatific look, or whatever we're calling it, but part three, my commentary. I managed to go 40 minutes without really giving any commentary and editorializing. That's truly a feat. So, I don't know, I took some notes, so let's start off. I'm not going to go over this story, just go read section, or part one, part two, but it's the story of Luke, the story of Stephen. Luke writing into some other guy, telling the story. And this was written in 2002, 2003, around when I was in high school. And I remember reading it at the time. Now, memory's a tricky thing, so did I did I read it then? Probably. I don't think I read it in college. I don't think I read it, I think it was high school. I think it was around then, because it could have been. Since I go back, yeah, the archive.org, you can look the URL up and say there's 2003, 2002 on some pages it's referenced. So high school, let's say that. And I remember reading it, and it was like, this kind of describes some things here. The site itself, that's good, that's very good segue. The site itself is a little bit too focused on the sex stuff. Now, not anal, definitely not anal, never anal. Okay, very helpful advisory against anal. And, to me, it was a little too graphic even for me. As the guy who's still doing YesFap November, it's going fine, I guess. I don't know. We'll have one video about it later. But it was there was a lot more detail in there that I remember about the actual sex stuff. That's why I had to add the disclaimer I have about it's rated R or rated X or something. I added that as an extra little file later. I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember this much graphic detail about, people. I put my hand between us to touch his cock. He groaned and thrust hard. And it's like, okay, fine. I don't want to be a prude about it, but it's like that obviously was not the most important part for me. And as a result, I didn't remember there was this much detail about, specific things. You could make a fucking movie out of this with this much direction. But anyways, and I'm sure some people would love to see that. But the point is, let's see here. Yeah, so that's basically it. I read this in high school, and again, I couldn't talk about it because everything sucks, right? And I didn't really see this in the real world. The guy who put this site together, I just don't see this anywhere, right? It's not really a thing. I mean, I guess I put something together, and I know some people who've written into me have said they actually read this before me. Okay, fantastic, but there's no address. There's no address to show up. What a shame. Right? So that's the problem, is it's just there's no place for this, right? And that's another great segue. So it kind of sucked, Stephen's father, not the guy writing it, but the guy written about, the other young man. His father then beat Luke up, or punched him in the face so he could see stars, and then they never saw each other again. How sad, right? But Stephen never called back, never came back. And it's like, well, you're 18 now. They were at 16, 17, it was high school. Stephen never really wrote back. Right? You like my autumn filter, by the way? This is, it's turning more pumpkin now, but I was thinking I have these IKEA paper lantern things. Let's turn it around, let's see. This thing. And it provides just enough light. I hate these bright lights. But anyway, so, no, we're back to good, but I did put a filter on that approximates what I think I feel. The original was a little too dungeony for this. But anyways, that's fine. Nice mellow yellows here. Nice calming. Yeah, I'm about to fall asleep in the bathtub. I've been here for an hour and a half. Good Lord. But so Luke's father, the guy who wrote in, Luke's father was very disappointed in his son for being a giant faggot, And they never talked about it. The mother was never told, or was she, but they never talked about it. So she never talked about it with him. He never talked about it with the son. Stephen never came back. He never talked with anybody else about it. There was one doctor, if you recall in the story, who was like, have you gone through any trauma? Because he started losing weight, right? And he started losing weight. Oh my goodness, the lights. Never talk about it. See, it never came back. And then it says, let me just read a little bit more. I don't want to belabor the point, but I never again had a relationship with a guy like the one I had with Steven. I was never as bold as he was, especially around other guys. Early in my sophomore year in college, I finally decided I was going to have to get on with my life or this thing would drive me crazy. In the second half of my sophomore year, I met a young woman I would later marry, and I fell in love with him. Okay, page 9. Not that you'd know, this is my printed out pages, but just for me. Let's see here. By the middle of my senior year in high school, the year I did not play football, I weighed 165 pounds. Now, this guy was 6'4", 200 pounds, so he dropped a lot of weight. I didn't do anything but attend school, study, and run. So he got his thing out by running a lot, and you can lose a lot of weight, especially if you're not eating. I did not hang out with friends or date. I was alone unto myself. Now, I realized how destructive and self-pitying I was being. At the time, though, I did not care. My parents became so concerned with my weight loss, they took me to several doctors. Right. And there was one doctor who was like, hey, anything traumatic happened to me recently? I told him I was fine as a frog's hair, thank you very much. I felt isolated in my hometown, so he couldn't talk about it with anybody there either. No, can relate. So he talks more about, so again, just to reiterate, he goes back to college, he took off a year, or took off some time because he went to another doctor who was like, well, you're probably drinking heavily or involved with drugs, and if you're not, well, change something, because this is not going to end well. Since I wasn't actually ready to shuffle off this mortal coil just yet, I came to the conclusion I was going to have to put the past behind me. I wasn't quite sure how, but I decided to start eating better, make some friends, and get on with life. All of this was about as fun as a prostate exam at first, but the more effort I put into it, the better it got and the healthier I got. Well, okay, so he kind of repressed it and said, well, this isn't happening again. Steven's not coming back. Other people are not understanding this. And, okay, maybe he came to terms with it, but that was kind of, I don't know, bone-chilling is the right way to say it, but I think when I originally read this almost 20 years ago, 15 years ago, more than that, that was like, this is not me. I can't, because again, he got married, but never told the wife. So it's like, okay, so what's that about? Right? I can't just have a roommate that I don't talk about with things like this, right? I knew when I read this 15 years ago, now this isn't for now, that's not going to happen. And I guess I was right, It's not, I met my future wife at a friend's party. We started dating, and the rest, as they say, is history. I cannot block that off. I can't. I couldn't. And that's really it. Is some people, even if they realize this is, they had a same-sex relationship, and they realize the father sucks. Both of the fathers suck. You can't talk to anybody about this, but he just moved on. That's it. Can't do it. Nope. Moving on is forgetting about it and just blocking it out and repressing it forever. Fucking no. No, can't do that, And that's it. No, just cannot do that. And that's really, I think, what was interesting about this story is it's not the story. It's the, oh shit, I cannot do what was done in this story, which is just kind of forget about it. Maybe, 20... I'll drop my pen. I guess it's going. Here we go. That I cannot do that. How is that even possible? It's always in my mind, I cannot forget about it. And it's not about the same-sex stuff. I did want to do a video called, Guerrero but not Guerrero. It's not about the same-sex stuff. It's about, that's just one of the things you can't talk about, right? Why can't you talk about this? What's the problem here? Right? And no, the fact that the guy was hurting, the fact that the guy was painful about it, I don't know where that is. You've heard it. You know, but he even told his father, there's nothing wrong with this. You know, I lost my best friend. I love him very much. And you're disappointed, go fuck yourself. But no, he just, right. And again, the father knew, right? What's his face? Luke's father knew he's losing tons of weight. And it's like, oh, gee, we have no idea what's going on. Shut up. You know? And it's like, none of that matters. And then people kind of Stockholm Syndrome back and realize, it's never gonna be as good as I want it to be, so fuck it. Well, I can't do that. You know? I just can't. Yeah, it's just, you know, go get a wife and you can never talk about this. No, that just doesn't work. And again, it's not just about the same-sex stuff. It's that this is just one of the many things you can't talk about. People just aren't interested in. They just want to blend in and be potatoes or something in the background. You know? Let me look at the list. I think I got out what I wanted. So 11 minutes. Look at that. Can we drag this out? Yeah, the light unfortunately does not hit the paper. Let's do it this way. Let's see here. Writing out of place. Oh, the writing. Well, the writing was fine, but, you know, it's not my style, so I kind of stumbled over a couple of words because they weren't mine, obviously. So some of the word, not that matters, but I did write that down. Yeah, graphic detail was a bit more graphic than I remember, because that's not the important thing. The sex stuff, okay, fine, great, that would be wonderful, but no, it's that turn of I was losing weight, I felt miserable, and then, well, fuck it, I'll just kind of put on weight and whatever. And then, I found a wife and I can never talk to her about anything. That was the, oh shit, I can't do that. No, that's not for me, you know. And again, it's not the pussy stuff, it's not the grammar stuff, it's the, you can't talk about this stuff. That's the problem. Luke couldn't talk with his father. Luke couldn't talk with Stephen's father, with Stephen, with the mother, with the doctor. Even the doctor was like, oh, something traumatic, I don't know. Right? Couldn't talk with the wife. That sort of silence that you cannot say. It's the military school incident. It's when I was sitting on my bed after my parents threatened to send me to a military school. And it was like, I can't talk to these people. These fuckers, you know. These fuckers threatened to abandon me before, and I can't hold them accountable for it. I can't talk to them about it. And I can't talk to anyone else about it. Just like Luke couldn't talk about this with anyone else. Right? Well, I guess that's it. Okay, so it took, 17, 18 years? Hey, that's fun. That's progress. I don't want to mock it, you know. Progress is this, I guess. You know, 18 fucking years. Although, again, we don't have to do a play-by-play of the last 18 years to catch it right, but just the more important things. And this certainly was one of them. You know, this was just one of those essays that, or whatever, email, whatever, that hit me that I could just never talk to anyone about, obviously. Oh. Oh, the letter. The letter, yeah. We might talk about that later. No, we definitely will. That's another thing you can't talk about. But anyways, we did talk about this, so isn't that wonderful? And, clean my hands. And that's it.